Does it seem like there's not enough hours in the day? I know how you feel. I have been working full-time, going nonstop for a very long time. Even when I was in high school, my favorite song that they quote you in the yearbook was Running Just to Catch Myself by Mark Schultz. That's a long time ago, but it's a song about always being on the run. And so, over the years, I've learned how to become more productive while always doing something, because it's very easy to get bogged down in stuff that doesn't actually make you productive. So if you want to really push your career, push your business, push your life, maximize your productivity. So that's what we're going to jump in today. I'm Brian Mullins. Make sure you take a second to like, subscribe, comment, and share so we can get the word about all the videos we're putting out about personal finance, productivity tips, employment, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you check those out and let's get started. Number one, you've heard this one before, but don't multitask. Your brain is not made to multitask. It does not work. Whenever you're multitasking, you are stopping one task, starting another task, and then going back to the first task. And so when you're doing that, you are never actually going to get anything done terribly well. So make sure that you're focusing. Turn your phone off, turn on Do Not Disturb, especially if it's an activity that you really need to put all your focus on, because if you don't do that, you will forget where you are, and then you'll end up messing something up. I've even done this, and I've forgotten what I was doing. And then a day later, I'm like, oh no, I totally forgot that. So make sure that you're not multitasking. Focus on those activities, especially those highly productive and highly profitable activities. Really focus on those and don't multitask. Tip number 2, what is the best time that you work? So this is going to depend, and this is going to go against what a lot of people are going to say. So you've heard you should get up in the morning, you should work out, you should meditate, you should pray, whatever it is. I don't agree. I think that you should find the time that works best for you. For me, my most productive time is between 7 and 10:30 in the morning. I'm an early bird. I wake up when the sun gets up. So that is my most productive time. If I spend an hour going to meditate or something, then I have just lost an hour of my most productive time of the day. Why not take that time and get something done? So this depends on you. That might be better for you. You might not be awake in the morning and you need a time to wake up. Take the time, meditate, helps you wake up, drink some coffee, you'll be great to go. And then your most productive time may be in the evening, maybe, from 9 p.m. to midnight. Awesome. Work with what works best for you. You know your body, you know your natural cycle of when you're most productive, so use that to your advantage to maximize your productivity. Number 3, plan your day. This is a really important one. You can either set your goals the night before or the morning of, but before you really get your day started, set your goals. I know some people who they'll go the night before and they'll go to bed and they'll write them down and then they go to sleep. And so they're thinking about them overnight. I like to do it first thing in the morning. That's just much more my style. It really depends on you. But make sure you set those goals and know how you're going to accomplish it. Because if you don't, your day will just flutter away and all of a sudden you haven't gotten anything done. There's a law out there called Parkinson's Law. And it's actually pretty interesting. It's relating to several things, but for our context, we're going to talk about time. If you have 2 tasks to finish, you'll get them done in the time you have allotted. If you have 8 tasks to finish, you'll get them done in the same amount of time if that's the time you have allotted. So take that into account. Set your goals. You'll be surprised how many you can actually finish in the day. Otherwise, you're going to get, nothing done. There was once, I remember when I was in junior high, I had a teacher tell me, she said, set the bar high, higher than you think you can go, because you will actually go further than if you set the bar low and reach it. So set it high. If you don't reach it, that's okay, but you've gone further than if you set the bar low and reach it. So keep that in mind. Set the bar high, get your priorities straight the morning of or the day before, and you'll have a much more productive day. Number 4, prioritize. So we're going to go back to a principle called the Eisenhower Matrix. I first learned this in the book, The One Thing, great book by the way, of helping you decide what is a priority. So we're going to throw up on the screen here. You can see that we've got urgency is going from right to left, and then importance is going from bottom to top. So top or upper left corner is going to be your most important. Lower right corner is going to be your least important. So we're going to go from do to decide to delegate and eliminate or delete. So you're going to focus on number 1. Number 1 is always going to be your priority. Number 2 is going to be your second priority. Number 3, if you're in a management role, try to hand that off to somebody else, or if you're an entrepreneur. And number 4, why are you doing it? It's not urgent and it's not important, so you don't need to be doing it. This is really important. So take the steps from 3, the things that you decide you're going to do today, and put them in this matrix. So if I have something that's honestly a really easy task, why would I do it at first thing in the morning? As I told you, my most productive time is from 7 to 10:30 in the morning. I should be doing my most difficult task during that time. And then I should be saving the easy tasks for the afternoon when I'm not as productive. So keep that in mind, prioritize what you're doing, and you will have a much more productive day. Number 5, time block. This doesn't work for everybody. This isn't really my cup of tea. I've tried it before. I have too much stuff going on to really effectively do time blocking. But time blocking is where you take each one of your tasks that you need to complete and setting aside a certain amount of time to complete the task. This is a really good, especially if you're not in a management role, complete your hardest things in the morning like we talked about, but set them aside. You've got an hour to do task A. So set it aside, do task A, and then you go to task B. There are people who are calendar fanatics and this is the way they roll. And if this is you, highly, highly suggest you do it. I would also include family time, include downtime on this, because if you don't, you will work yourself to death. Even if you don't really do time blocking, I think it's still important to set aside time for family. So you can, have your workday relatively open where you're getting stuff done, but set aside time where, you're going to spend time with family, you're going to take off on vacation. Time block that out because then you can work that into your schedule going forward. Number 6, set an agenda for your meetings. So it's really easy to just, say, we're going to have a meeting, and then you have a meeting. At the end of the meeting, what did we decide? I don't know. What did we decide? I don't know. We didn't actually get anything done. If you set a meeting agenda, you will have everything in writing of exactly what you're going to talk about. Make sure you don't rabbit trail off and you start talking about stuff that's not relating to what our main topic is. And then have action items when you're done. So at the end of the meeting, you should say, okay, we talked about this. This is our problem. This is our solution. These are the action items to execute said solution. If you're not doing that, your meetings are a waste of time. You need to be doing other productive activities. Now, this is really if you're a manager or an entrepreneur and you have other people. But if you're an employee and your employer is not doing this, this is a great way to get a promotion, to show your worth. Go to your boss and say, hey, would you mind if I write a meeting agenda? I think it would make us more productive. Your boss will probably appreciate that. And if they appreciate that, you write the agenda and you keep that up, that's how you get a promotion, because you are now taking the meetings that weren't terribly productive before and making them more productive. What does that do for your employer? It makes them more money, which means that you become more valuable, you can make more money, and you can get the promotion that you deserve. Number 7, this is last. It's intentionally last, but it's certainly not least. Delegate. If you are an employer or an entrepreneur, then you need to learn how to delegate. If you're not an employer yet, if you're just an employee, that is okay. Keep this in mind. You may eventually end up being a manager, and then you are the ones making the call. But if you are doing a job, and let's say you're a business owner, you make $50 an hour. Why are you doing a $10 an hour task? Hire somebody to do it. If it's something that's easy, like you might be able to hire somebody, a virtual assistant overseas, that would take $5 an hour and they'd be tickled pink, and you'd be saving yourself a whole lot of money. You can take your time and focus on those activities that will make you money. You can be making $50 while paying somebody $10. You're netting $40. That's better off for everybody. And then you can grow and you can take your company to the next level. If you're an employee, still, I want you to watch this. I want you to see if your employer is doing this. This may be something that even you can bring up to your employer and say, hey, I see you doing this. Would you like for me to help you out with that? You might be that $10 an hour employee. But if you say, hey, can I help you with task XYZ? They might love to have you do that. And now you're saving them more time. They become more productive. They become more valuable. And you become more valuable to your boss. So I hope today that you have learned something. I know some of these tips were a little bit cliche, but they do work. I've implemented almost all of these in my own life, and I've really seen a difference. So make sure that you're taking these tips, go back, rewatch it, and actually do it. Take notes. Say, how am I going to make an action item out of these tasks, out of these tips that we've been given today? Write it down and say, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and then you will see an improvement in your life. So again, if you like this video, if you want to see more, take a second to like, subscribe, comment below. We would love to engage with you. Share this with a friend. So I really hope this has been helpful. I am Brian Mullins, and I hope that you have a good day.